Viewers, as you all know, bitter political wrangling can have serious consequences. Villainizing leaders, demonizing them, normalizing hate attacks upon them can very quickly invite serious consequences. We only have to look back to Saturday evening. There, Donald Trump, to the left of your screens, viewers, survived an assassination attempt. Let's go back to those pictures. That's Donald Trump, viewers, surviving an assassination attempt. He was very lucky. He happened to turn his head slightly to the left, viewers. Otherwise, his brains would have been blown out. The bullet grazed his ear because he turned to look at a screen on which certain statistics he wanted to read out from. He got very lucky, viewers. And this attack, many people are saying, especially the BJP, has been born out of a vicious political culture that normalized hate attacks on President Trump. Today, viewers, the BJP and other political parties who are aligned to the NDA have come out and said that the time has come when we need to be extremely careful about what we have to say in public. Because it was Trump yesterday or day before, and it could be our own Prime Minister who could be subject to a targeted attack tomorrow on the back of the hysteria that is being whipped up against him on different accounts. The BJP has wasted no time in issuing this warning to the opposition to end its vilification campaign against Prime Minister Modi in order to prevent a similar attack on the Indian Prime Minister motivated by hate. It is alleged that the opposition has used the same sort of tropes to attack Modi as those used against Trump. And you can see, viewers, on your screens what Amit Malviya and Shehzad Poonawalla and other leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party have been saying. It's not a coincidence. Rahul Gandhi has been encouraging violence against the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. He's lost an election several times in a row. Under the Congress, deliberately compromised Prime Minister's security when his cavalcade and convoy was left stranded on a flyover. Several instances. Shehzad Poonawalla has also come out and made certain references to the overarching line of the attacks, pointing out similarities about the vilification campaign. The same tropes that were used against Trump are used against Mr. Modi. Let me annotate that, viewers, with some examples. Hillary Clinton drew a parallel between Hitler and Trump. This happened in November 2023. She said Hitler was duly elected. All of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies, would be like, okay, we're going to shut this down, we're going to throw these people in jail. And they didn't usually telegraph that. Trump is telling us what he intends to do. Viewers, in the same vein, Congress Chief Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Siddaramaiah, drew a parallel between Hitler and Modi. January 2023, he said, people won't believe it, but what happened to Hitler? He walked around pompously for a few days. What happened to Mussolini and Franco? He, Prime Minister Modi, will also walk around like this only for a few days. What is being said, viewers, here? Can you imagine? Look at the bitterness. Then there was a dictator reference made to Trump and also made to Modi. Joe Biden's tweet, July 2024, Americans want a president, not a dictator. Rahul Gandhi's tweet, March 2024, just before the Lok Sabha election, the cowardly dictator is working to create a dead democracy. Then, viewers, attack on Constitution reference, Joe Biden's tweet, November 2019, this is in the context of Trump. This election is about the soul of our nation, and Donald Trump is poison to our soul. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, April 2024, again before the general elections. This election is not a mere election, it's a fight to protect the soul of our great nation. The Congress, of course, has brushed aside this parallel. Pawan Khera, Congress leader, has come out and said cheap politics should not be played on the issue of security of leaders. The Congress party lost Mahatma Ji to right-wing terrorists. We lost 2 prime ministers at the hands of terrorists. We lost our entire Chhattisgarh leadership to left-wing terrorists under the watch of BJP. Prime Minister Modi and the entire BJP has been instigating people against the leadership of the Congress by spreading vitriolic lies against Nehruji, Indiraji and the entire family. Now, viewers, have the vituperative attacks on Prime Minister Narendra Modi endangered his life? The Prime Minister, whose rally was targeted when he was a Prime Minister aspirant in Bihar, continues to face multiple threats from ideological opponents. Some of these have been investigated and their roles assessed by various security agencies, and there's a whole list of them which we will put out, viewers. But let's open this up as we look at those hard facts. Foreign Islamist groups, viewers, have threatened him. There's been a threat from indigenous Islamist terrorist groups like the Indian Mujahideen, threats from Maoist insurgents, documented threats, in fact, to Modi, threat from Sikh separatists. We have seen them even working internationally, saying that we're going to kill Prime Minister Modi. Threats from particular individuals, mostly among the left ecosystem, have been arrested for threatening Modi's life, often due to personal grievances or political motivations. These individuals are hardest to track. Just recently, in an opposition-ruled state, a mobile phone was thrown at Modi that landed a few feet ago, and I'm talking about Karnataka. Threat from political opponents, certain political opponents, and I've already listed those, viewers. One even said surgery was needed to remove Modi. Modi warned he would meet the same fate as Duryodhana. There are many such claims, viewers. Will the attacks on Trump lead to deep introspection among all Indian political party leaders and their echo chambers on what they should say in their public commentary about each other? That's the fundamental question. And let me go straight across to Lokesh Jindal and ask him this question. Mr. Lokesh Jindal, the hate, and I have brought out the similarities between the campaign against Mr. Trump. It's word to word almost. It's almost as if chapter and verse people from the Congress have picked out what the Democrats have to say about Trump and pasted it on their own Twitter handles. Now, if it could work there, the same kind of vilification campaign against Mr. Modi could spark a horrible backlash against Prime Minister Modi here.
Good evening, Rahul. Rahul, we are drawing wrong parallels.
Okay.
America is a contract-driven society, and India is a culture-driven society. We have America where there was formation of state first, and then we see society coming into existence. And in India, we had a society which gave rise to a state. So I would say that India, which has its historical tradition of non-violence, India has got a historical tradition of accommodation.
Right.
India has got a rich cultural heritage. In fact, India can teach democracy to United States of America rather than we learning anything from Americans. This form of polarization that is seen in the West and in Americas is not something that we will see in India.
Jindal Saab, have you heard of this slogan, Sartan se juda?
Yes.
Have you heard of it, sir?
We do find
Now you're coming out with the facts. When I remind you of these three words, you suddenly realize that the same India that you're talking about has seen on the back of precisely this kind of propagandized nonsense, people being attacked for their views. So, again, Mr. Jindal, I'll be very careful. Don't forget, sir, don't forget that there have been attacks on Indian politicians from left and from right. There have been people who have been beheaded in full public glare. There have been politicians who've called for beheadings.
But then, Rahul, you cannot compare it with the gun culture in
how
America.
about gun culture, sir? Don't read up, I'll tell you,
occurred.
all this gun culture, you know where this is coming from? One pretty illiterate or semi-literate YouTuber has come up with this, saying that, in America, guns are available. And that's really the underlying reason why Trump was attacked. No, viewers, the underlying reasons is always the motive. It's always the motive. Indira Gandhi didn't lose her life because someone bought a gun from a tube station or from a Walmart.
The assassination of
Dr.
Indira Gandhi is very
Ranganathan,
different from
could you
the
please
assassination
explain to Mr. Jindal that we are skating on thin ice when you are trying to normalize this nonsense?
No, absolutely. Couple of points to make, but before I do, Rahul, you're absolutely true. This blaming of gun culture is almost cushioning a crime. And, your fellow Kashmiri Hindu does it all the time. In fact, he wrote one of them, who's an urban Naxal as well, no less. He wrote a script where he blamed the Kashmiri Hindu genocide on the glut of guns that came from Afghanistan. Can you imagine? So this is the level to which they would go in cushioning crimes when it suits them. There are two brief points that I'd like to make. Number one, Rahul, at the nub of the issue is dehumanizing. That's it. The moment you start dehumanizing a human, these issues spring up. So how do you dehumanize? Obviously, all religious scriptures have done it. You start calling a person as a vermin, as a worm. Left has done it umpteen number of times, as much as right has done it. Famously, Castro called his adversaries as worms and rats, and so did so many other left-wingers as well. Pol Pot was very famous for calling his other people vermin, the other people vermin who did not believe in ground zero. No, the fact of the matter is, the moment you start dehumanizing, you give out a signal that killing this person, killing this human, removing him is actually all right. So you can do it because he's not a human anymore. And how do you dehumanize? You call him evil. You bring analogies with evil people like Hitler. You want to kill that person. You want to remove that person. So the first thing in propaganda is, don't think of that person as a person anymore. That is what has been happening with Modi. Congress has done it. And that is what has happened with Trump. The Democrats have done it. Number two, and this is very important, the role of the media. Rahul, we believe what we see. That is the tradition. But unfortunately, what we are seeing is written by those who see what they believe. The biases don't peep anymore. You saw the newspaper headlines the moment Trump was, the assassination was made. They were saying Trump falls from the podium. There is a popping sound. And Denver said, instead of concentrating on Trump, he said, the shooter shot dead. These people are frauds. These are evil doers. And that is the problem with journalism. We remember Indian Express coming up with, and then they killed Yaqub Memon or some Supreme Court. So, think about how frauds became.
Let me bring in Tuhin. I respect Mr. Jindal. He usually comes very researched, but here today, I think he is trying to create some sort of chimera. Because, he says that we can never be. Now, the Congress is in alliance with a partner in Tamil Nadu. That particular partner, to use Dr. Ranganathan's phrase, dehumanized an entire sect of people. Sanatanis saying that they are, coronas.
Yes, virus.
They're a virus. Get rid of them, eradicate them. Now, Tuhin Sinha, look, do haath se tali bachti hai. We have also seen attacks from the BJP side against Congress leaders. And one has to focus on that also. Who is going to take the lead in ending this culture of vilification, dehumanizing, etc., etc.? I have to ask you this question in all fairness and earnestness tonight.
No, I think, good evening, Rahul. This vilification has been going on for the last 21 years, ever since the Gujarat riots. And one person has been the target of it, which is Prime Minister Modi, and he continues to be the target. And why the attack on Trump is, raises a lot of concern for India is because India's leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, has shown a very definite violent tendency, at least on two occasions. In February 2020, he made a statement that आज से 6 महीने बाद यहाँ के युवा जो हैं प्रधानमंत्री को डंडे से मारेंगे. This is there on public domain. Then just last month, when Prime Minister went to Varanasi and, there was a breach of security and somebody threw a slipper on his cordon, he kind of mocked the entire incident. So, this kind of a tendency raises a lot of concern. Besides, there are many other instances. We have seen Congress party celebrating, protesting with slogans like Modi ki kabr khudegi. We have seen them giving a ticket to Imran Masood, the person who made the most preposterous, who made the most ugly comment that Modi ki boti katenge. So we have seen how they lapped up Tawqir Rana on the eve of Uttarakhand elections. The moment he made a statement to the effect that he would perpetrate a carnage against Hindus. So okay. I think this opposition is a dangerous opposition, and I think India needs to be cautioned. My friend Mr. Jindal was saying that we have a rich culture and such things can't happen in our country. But that culture has been vitiated by this opposition, and unfortunately, the kind of lies, the kind of falsehood they perpetrated right through the election, especially by spreading, falsehood on the issue of reservation. I think, that could have,
Mr. Jindal, quick response before I wrap out. Yes.
Yes, Rahul, the idea is that any form of statement that toxicates the environment must not be allowed in a democracy. We had the Prime Minister in Jaipur giving a speech for which Election Commission raised apprehension for which he had to apologize also. So it is applicable to both the sides that no such forms of statements, no such form of conduct must be carried out that completely spoils the environment and brings violence into this democratic system.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Ranganathan, quick
So-
one before I wrap out. Yes.
Just a very simple question to my good friend Lokesh. Should Rahul Gandhi demand an apology from Chief Minister Stalin for felicitating the assassin of Rajiv Gandhi? Yes or no?
Yeah. I think let's introduce a law that henceforth any individual who indulges in such form of toxic statements or freedom of speech and expression, which is widely, I would
You
say,
have the
abused.
laws. The problem is, viewers,
walk the
that
talk,
there are
you
people
need to
who
walk
think
the
that
talk.
they're above the law. The laws are all there. Dr. Ranganathan
depends upon who's in power.
has been slapped with those laws. I have been slapped with those laws. The weakest viewers link in our nation are slapped with those laws. Not some of these big plenipotentiaries of political parties who think that they can get away with everything and do get away with everything, viewers, till it's too late. What are we waiting for? Till it's too late? Is that what we want, viewers? Is that what we want? India's democracy settled at gunpoint by some worked up character who has been fed lies. Viewers, think about it. I'll leave it at this. You think about it. We'll return with Anand Narasimhan and the right stand. Don't go away.